Every artist struggles with writing an artist statement. There is no real template to do it. Everyone says something else. There are even courses that teach you how to write an artist statement. The truth is, most people don't read these artist statements because they're boring and they're complex and nobody really understands them. But it's also true that you need one because people want to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, and it's your chance to enforce your brand. Platforms that you share your artist statements on are clearly your website, the website of the gallery, and you'll need them for applications to residencies, grants, and so on. And often you find them in press releases at the bottom. So the journalists sometimes ask for them because they want to summarize what you are and who you stand for. There are different routes how to write an artist statement, in my opinion. First, I want to present you a very structured one. To start with, you need to do some pre-work that will lead you to your artist statement. We discussed it in previous classes. Take a look at the third class that I taught, which is part of the preamble. If you haven't done it, now let's go through it again together. Write down your key messages. Your key message is a few seconds short, 5 to 10 seconds. It's what you want the audience to remember and relate to it. It keeps your brand and vision on track and is in line with what you want to accomplish. Then write down your goals. We talked about goals before. Make them as specific as possible. Don't say, I want to exhibit internationally. Say, I want to exhibit in a solo show in this particular gallery in Berlin in October 2020. Now write down your mission. What's your purpose? Why are you creating art? Who do you want to influence? It's fun to actually write this down, but keep it short. You saw it with Uber's mission statement, it's just one line. Now, what's your vision? What do you want to be known for? How do you see the world changing because of your impact? What picture would you like to paint of yourself? Again, make it very short. So, when you've done it so far, congratulations. You are almost at 80% to create your own artist statement. You're in the right mindset now. Now, sit down and just write what comes to your mind based on what we wrote down before. There's another way how you could approach writing an artist statement and getting to this stage. It's a little unconventional one. I think a lot of art school teachers and academies have put too much emphasis on creating an artist statement. This builds up fear. You shouldn't have fear because you're writing an artist statement. My preferred approach, and that's what I recommend to my artist friends, is to write it down without thinking too much about it. What can help you is following scenario. Let's imagine we met yesterday in a train. We were sitting next to each other and started chatting, and you told me that you're an artist, and I say, oh, that's cool. I'm a professor for art management. And then I said, hey, I'm interested in your work because the internet didn't work or whatever, so you couldn't show me your Instagram. So I said, hey, send me a couple of your works. Here's my email, info@MagnusClass.com. So the next day you sit down and attach a PDF. I explained you how to do that before, what should be in the PDF, to your email. In the body of the email, you want to send me a brief intro to your work, describing what you do. You start with something like, hey Magnus, good to meet you yesterday in the train. I attached a PDF with some images. My work deals with, and then you start talking about your work. And this is where your artist statement comes in. So try this approach. Pretend you sent me an email. Really go in your email program and write it down. Don't use more than 50 to 100 words. You will see. It will make it easier to write this artist statement. Here's some tips. Once you've written it, read it out loud. Reread and edit your free writing, structure it, match the language, cut out repetitions, and get rid of jargon. It should be catchy, understandable for readers without a background in the art world, which most of those people that you address to have. And you should make your art understandable through this. Get other people to read it. Second advice. The trick is to have them read it, then take away the statement, then ask them, can you summarize what my work is about? If they can't, you failed, you have to rewrite your artist statement. If they can repeat your core message, you have won. And thirdly, give it some time. Write it down, then leave it aside for a couple of days, then reread it again. And then you're done. At some point, just copy paste it, put it on your website, done. Don't spend too much time on it. Jerry Saltz, he should know, one of the most relevant art journalists in the world, and he's clearly seen a lot of artist statements. He says, written in plain language, keep it short, simple, to the point. Use your own syntax, write the way you speak, no platitudes. With giant abstractions, nature, beauty, ambiguity, say what you really are doing with these big things. Or avoid them at all. Don't be afraid to be funny, weird, your stupid self. A glimpse of real self is powerful. Let's look at examples. A bad one and a good one. Let's start with a bad one. Take a look at this. This is Oscar Murillo's artist statement. Let me read it out for you. Born in Colombia and based in various locations, Oscar Murillo, born 1986, is known for an inventive and itinerant practice that encompasses paintings, works on paper, sculptures, installations, actions, live events, collaborative projects, and videos. Taken as a whole, his body of work demonstrated a sustained emphasis on the notion of cultural exchange and the multiple ways in which ideas, languages, and even everyday items are displayed, circulated, and increasingly intermingled. Murillo's work conveys a nuanced understanding of the specific conditions of globalization and its attendant state of flux, while maintaining the universality of human experience. So that's a good one. I mean, you realize I had difficulties pronouncing those words that they used. I think what they actually mean is Oscar Murillo was born in Colombia and is now based in various locations. He was born in 1986 and his work focuses on cultural exchange in times of globalization. I mean, which one do you prefer more? I think most people would take away more from the statement that I just summarized than reading through this statement that we saw before. They did the exact opposite that Jerry Saltz told us to do. Let's take a good example, which I found on Richard Teitinger's website. Maria Kamar, born 1991, Karachi, Pakistan, is a first-generation Canadian from a traditional South Asian family. She moved to Canada at the age of 9 in 2001 and was forced to endure bullying and racism as a young girl in a post-9/11 Toronto. Kamar found her artistic voice through Instagram, where her illustrations resonated with the Desi community, particularly the second generation. Art became a means for her to handle realities of being brown and South Asian in an early 2000s North American context. Her work is collected by Mindy Carling and was featured on the Mindy Project. She's an Instagram sensation and the author of the Trust No Auntie, published in 2017. Her artwork has been shown and so on. Maria currently lives and works in Toronto, Canada. What I like about this statement is it's very clear. It tells her story and her motivation. I can relate to some of the events, or at least know someone who can. It's not abstract at all. The language that she chooses is very clear. At the end, she increases credibility because she presents some trusted brands. If you compare it to Murillo's statement, I find hers much more approachable. If I had the option to choose who I want to meet, I would want to meet her, and I like to learn more about her work. Think about it when you create your artist statement. Here are some do's and don'ts. Let's start with the do's. Make it personal. Be engaging. Grab the reader's attention with the first 2 sentences. Be clear and be specific. Don'ts. Use unnecessary or fanciful words, poems or too abstract writing, empty expressions or cliches, or words that Magnus cannot pronounce. Don't generalize, don't over-explain things, and do not write more than 100 words.